Today we're back in stunning Sri Lanka to ride the country's sleeper train, the Night Mail service from the mountainous interior to the capital, so let's go and check it out together. Welcome to Badulla. This is the capital of the Uva province and is located at 680 metres above sea level and is surrounded by the Namunakula mountain range, which towers over it at up to 2016 metres tall. Now, I'd hoped to be able to sing the praises of this train and not to have to tell you why you should avoid it at all costs, but more on that later. The station, which serves the town of 47,000 people, is a glorious time warp of days gone by. Like nearly all stations on Sri Lanka, it's stuck in 1950s Britain and I love it. My ticket for today is printed on this large sheet of paper. No e-tickets for this journey. There's a staff ticket office which features a wooden board timetable above it and a small waiting area with park benches. Just fantastic. Pulling in now is one of the day trains which runs from Colombo to Badulla via Kandy and Ella. I might be jumping ahead a bit now, but this is a much better option for this route, and not just because you miss all the stunning scenery when travelling at night. Oh yeah, the next train departure board is also made from wood, with analogue clocks that the station staff change as and when required. These manual weighing scales, paper ledgers and decorative canopies really make me feel so nostalgic. Once the day train has been moved down to the sidings, we can see our train waiting on platform 2. The railway staff then set about shunting it across under the amazing backdrop of the mountains. It then reverses onto platform 1 so we can board without everyone having to cross the bridge or the tracks. The train is formed of one first-class sleeper coach and a mix of second and third-class reserved sleeperettes, which are basically just comfy seats which recline a long way. There is also second and third-class unreserved seating. The whole train is without air conditioning. Before we board, let's take a look at our route from Badulla to Colombo on the Night Mail train tonight. We'll be hauled by this Class M6 diesel locomotive. 16 of these were imported from Germany in 1979. They have 1650 horsepower and a top speed of 90 km per hour. Level boarding is not available, nor are there any wheelchair facilities on board. My first impressions of the inside of the train is that it's very old and run down, but let's keep an open mind for now. Well, here's my cabin, the last one in the coach, beds 11 and 12. And with the lights on, oh dear, look at the state of this compartment. It doesn't look like it's had a clean for 30 years, let alone a lick of paint or a refurb. We'll have a look around more once we get going, but I'll call it out now as the worst sleeper train compartment that I've ever been in, and I'm going to have to sleep here. Anyway, on the sound of the station master's whistle, off we go, on time at 1800. As the bird flies, the distance from Badulla to Colombo is just 130 kilometres, however our route tonight is 292 kilometres, weaving through valleys, alongside mountains, through tunnels and over bridges. The trip is scheduled to take 11 hours and 40 minutes of travel time, averaging just 25 kilometres per hour, arriving at 0540 tomorrow morning. The prices are fixed at the following, no matter when you book. First class sleepers are 4,950 Sri Lankan rupees, a second class sleeperette is 2,000 Sri Lankan rupees, and a third class sleeperette is 1,500 Sri Lankan rupees. But be aware, especially the first class sleeper that we're in sells out very quickly, but also be aware that you may not want to do it after you've watched this video. While the train may not be up to scratch, the same can't be said for the train window views. They are absolutely outstanding from start to finish, made all the better by the fully opening windows. If you want ad-free early access to all my videos and help support me make bigger and better reviews, then become a channel member from just £1.99 per month. Just click the link above now. Thank you. This is called the Main Line in Sri Lanka and was built by the British during the colonial period. It opened in stages with the first section from Colombo to Ambepussa commencing operation in 1864. It finally reached Badulla in 1924. The main reason for construction was to transport tea and coffee from the mountainous inland terrain for export from the port in Colombo. Passenger services were initially very much a second thought. Okay, time to check out the room in a bit more detail. I'm not sure I really want to, but here goes. All first class rooms are double bunked and the beds are pre-made before your arrival. Honestly, these are the best part of the room. The mattresses and pillows were relatively thick and the bedding all seemed clean enough. There is a main room light and then each bunk has their own personal light as well. A rickety wooden ladder is provided to access the top bunk. As well as the opening window, a fan is provided for additional ventilation. The sideboard, storage and sink areas are all absolutely filthy. It really was quite disgusting. The water works, but there's no danger I'll be using any of it. Bottled water for the win. The ensuite toilet is accessed from inside your cabin, but is shared with the one next door, so make sure you lock it from both sides. Again, everything is dirty and I avoided using it except in an emergency. As you may expect, the toilet also dumps the waste onto the tracks below. Yeah, I really didn't want to touch it. Don't forget your hand sanitizer as well. Overall, a pretty grim sleeper cabin. At least it's only for one night, I guess. Here's a look at the second and then third class sleeperette accommodation. As I mentioned, they are just seats which have a large recline, but for the very cheap prices, I guess you can't complain. We are at least treated to a magnificent sunset which has helped to cheer me up a bit. I can't get enough of these views out the window. You'll be glad to hear that I have done all of the route in daylight too. One of the videos is already up on the channel and the other will be my next Sri Lankan video, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Because it really is one of the most remarkable routes in the world, the sheer ingenuity of the engineers and workmen who built it over 100 years ago cannot be sniffed at. This is my favourite part of the route, the famous 9-arch bridge. Click the link above now to see when we crossed this marvellous bridge in an observation car earlier this day. We are now approaching Ella, where the majority of people will board this train to Colombo. We spent a few wonderful days here in this rural haven. It's not hard to see why it's one of the top destinations in Sri Lanka. There's loads to do, from activities to hiking to waterfalls to scooting about and exploring to just having a few drinks and nice meals with your friends. If you come to Sri Lanka, you must make time to come to Ella. Anyway, on that non-sponsored note from the Ella Tourist Board, it's time to turn in and try and get some sleep. Oh yes, there is no catering or Wi-Fi on the train at all either. After on and off sleep for around 7 hours, I wake up as we are in the Colombo suburbs. I usually do sleep well on trains, but even though this one went very slow, it was particularly loud and bumpy, and I kept nearly falling off the bed. On the adjacent platform you can really see that these trains are very much mixed use, transporting not only passengers but goods and mail across the country while everyone else is sleeping. I wonder how much freight we had on board tonight. As the sun begins to rise, we catch a glimpse of the Lotus Tower, one of the main landmarks of the Colombo skyline. We went up here when we were previously in Colombo, and you get a great bird's eye view of the city, including the railway line we're currently on. As we are about to pull into Colombo Fort, the main station in the Sri Lankan capital, let me summarise this trip. Well, there's no point sugarcoating it, is there? Downright disgusting compartments and toilets, but on the flip side, amazing views and a very cheap ticket price. Am I glad I've done it? Yes. Would I recommend it or do it again? Absolutely not. So you've seen my take on this train. Would you ride it, or would you stick to the AC day train? We arrived 28 minutes late at 0608 after a 12-hour and 8-minute trip. Have you been on any trains in Sri Lanka? Which one? How did you find it? Leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps. I release a new video every Friday, so thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.